Have you ever felt scared when someone speaks English to you? You understand nothing. Your mind goes blank. Your heart beats fast. You know the words, but nothing comes out of your mouth. You want to speak, but fear stops you. You are not alone. Millions of people feel the same. Maybe you studied English in school for years, but now you cannot speak in real life. You forget the words. You don't understand fast speech. You feel shy. You feel small. You feel stuck. But what if I told you English can be simple? What if you could learn English by doing small things each day? No grammar books, no long word lists, no stress, just real English, spoken by real people, in real life. In this video, you will follow the story of Anna. She is a beginner, just like you. She moves to London and starts her English journey from zero. She learns how to speak, to listen, to understand. You will learn how real people talk in English. You will learn how to think in English, not translate. You will learn how to speak without fear, and how to enjoy the process. So, if you feel afraid to speak, if you feel lost when people talk fast, if you want to speak English with confidence, this story is for you. Stay with me until the end. Your English will change forever. My name is Anna. I am from Brazil. 1 year ago, I moved to London for work and study. I knew this would be a big change in my life. But I didn't know English would be such a problem. I learned English in school, but only grammar and rules. I never had a real conversation with anyone. On my first day in London, I went to the supermarket. I wanted to buy bread, milk, and some fruit. The cashier asked me a question I didn't understand. I smiled, said nothing, and quickly gave her the money. I felt so embarrassed. My heart was beating fast. I left the store and wanted to cry. Why couldn't I speak? Why couldn't I understand? I had studied for years, but I was silent. Later, I tried to take the bus to school. The driver said something I didn't catch. I only heard "tap your card," but I wasn't sure. I stood there, confused, holding the line behind me. At the cafe, I pointed at the menu. I didn't know how to say what I wanted. The girl behind the counter smiled and helped me. But I felt small. I felt like a child. I went home that night and looked in the mirror. I said to myself, I need to change this. I didn't want to be afraid anymore. I didn't want to hide. I wanted to speak. I wanted to live in English, not just study it. I wanted to talk to people and make friends. So the next morning, I searched for an English class. I found one near my house. It started next week. I signed up. My heart felt nervous but excited. Maybe this is the beginning of something new. I wrote one sentence in my notebook that night. I am ready to speak. I will not give up. The day of my first English class finally arrived. I woke up early. I got dressed and left the house. I walked slowly to the school, feeling a little afraid. My hands were cold and my heart beat very fast. What if I cannot understand the teacher? What if I say something wrong in front of others? I took a deep breath and entered the building. A woman at the front desk smiled and showed me the way. I walked into the classroom and looked around quietly. There were 7 students already sitting in their chairs. They were from many places: China, Turkey, Italy, and more. They looked nervous too, just like me. The teacher came in and gave us a warm smile. She said, "Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your first class." Her voice was soft and slow. I could understand her. That made me feel better inside my heart. Then she said something I will always remember. You do not need perfect English. You just need courage. She asked each of us to say our name. Then, one thing we like, such as music or food. When it was my turn, I stood up slowly. I said, "My name is Anna. I like books." The class smiled. The teacher said, "Well done, Anna." Those simple words made me feel proud. We played a small speaking game after introductions. We asked questions like, "Do you like coffee or tea?" These questions were easy, but they helped us relax. I listened carefully and tried to answer with short sentences. The teacher said, "The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to use English and enjoy speaking." After class, I felt something I had not felt before. I felt brave. I spoke in English and people understood. I walked home with a big smile on my face. Maybe learning English is not so scary after all. In our second class, the teacher asked a good question. She said, "How can we learn more English words easily?" One student from Poland raised her hand and spoke. She said, "I always forget new words after class." The teacher smiled and walked to the whiteboard slowly. She wrote one big word on the board. It was reading. She said, "Reading is the best way to learn words. When you read, you see words again and again. You see them in real sentences, not just in lists. You understand how people use them in daily life." She told us to read for 30 minutes each day. Not too much, not too little, just 30 minutes. I liked this idea, but I felt a little worried. I said, "Most English books are too difficult for me." The teacher said, "Choose easy books. Know 95% of the words. Then you can enjoy reading and learn new ones quickly." She also said something very interesting and different. She said, "Do not stop at every new word. Do not write it. Do not try to remember it. Just check it quickly, then keep reading the story." At first, this felt strange. In school, we memorized everything. We wrote long lists, but forgot them after the exams. The teacher gave us a short English story to try. It was about a girl who went to the city. I started reading it slowly and carefully. The sentences were short. The words were simple. I saw a word I did not know. It was a station. I looked it up and saw it means a place for trains. I kept reading and saw the word again later. This time, I knew the meaning without checking. I smiled. I was learning naturally, no pressure, no stress. After class, I went to the library to find more. The librarian showed me a section with easy English books. I picked one storybook and one travel book about London. That evening, I read one chapter at home in bed. I did not stop. I did not write anything down. I just read and enjoyed the story until the end. The next day, I heard a tourist say the word station. I understood it quickly and felt very excited inside. Reading helped me connect the word to real life. This made me feel happy and proud of myself. I wrote something important in my notebook that night. When I read, I learned words without trying too hard. After a few classes, I could read and listen better. But speaking was still my biggest problem and fear. Every time I tried to speak, I froze completely. My mouth stopped. My brain went quiet. Nothing came out. I was afraid of saying the wrong thing. I was afraid of people laughing at my mistakes. In class, other students spoke more than me. They made mistakes, but they did not feel scared. One day, I asked my teacher for help. I said, "I understand English, but speaking is hard." She looked at me kindly and said one sentence. "Speaking is not about being perfect. It is about being brave." She told me a simple way to practice speaking. She said, "Speak to yourself every day in a mirror. Look at your face. Look at your mouth. Speak slowly. Say what you did today. Say what you will do tomorrow." I went home and stood in front of the mirror. I felt silly at first, but I started speaking anyway. I said, "My name is Anna. I live in London. I go to school. I work in a small cafe. I said more each day. My voice got stronger. My fear started to go away slowly. The next time I spoke in class, I felt calm. My sentences were simple, but I did not stop. Even when I made a small mistake, I kept going. And the teacher smiled and said, "Good job, Anna." After class, I went to the cafe near school. A customer said, "Thank you." I answered, "You are welcome." It was a short moment, but it felt powerful. I was speaking in real life. People understood me. I went home and wrote in my notebook proudly. Speaking is like walking. You learn by doing it often. One day in class, the teacher asked us a question. She said, "Do you want to improve your pronunciation fast?" We all said yes, and listened closely to her advice. She smiled and wrote one word on the board: shadowing. None of us had heard this word before, but the teacher explained it in a simple way. She said, shadowing means listening and repeating at the same time. You copy the speaker, like a shadow follows your body. You do not wait. You repeat right after the speaker. This trains your mouth and your ears to work together. She showed us a short English video on her laptop. The speaker said, "Hello, I am happy to be here." The teacher paused the video and looked at the class. She said, "Now we say the sentence with him together." We all repeated slowly, trying to match his voice. It felt strange at first. My mouth moved differently, but I kept trying. My sounds slowly got better. The teacher said, "Do not try to be perfect, just be clear." We tried more sentences and shadowed the speaker each time. I could feel my mouth getting used to English sounds. Later that day, I went home and found another video. It was a man talking about food in slow English. I listened and repeated with him using the shadowing method. It was fun. It felt like speaking with a teacher. The next morning, I tried it again for 10 minutes. Each time, I spoke more smoothly and clearly. I wrote something important in my notebook after practice. Shadowing trains your mouth like exercise trains your body. If you do it every day, you will improve quickly. You do not need perfect grammar. Just repeat and speak. That night, I smiled while brushing my teeth before bed, because for the first time, my English sounded more natural. One morning, I woke up and felt something strange. I had a dream, and everything was in English. In the dream, I was in the cafe at work. A customer asked me something, and I answered in English. When I opened my eyes, I smiled to myself. I thought, my brain is changing. This feels amazing. Later in class, the teacher talked about a new topic. She said, "Today we will learn how to think in English." She looked at us and asked a simple question. Do you still translate words from your language to English? Most students nodded. I raised my hand and spoke. I said I had a dream in English last night. The teacher smiled and said, "That is a big step. It means your brain is starting to use English first." She told us how to train our brains every day. She said, start with small sentences in your daily life. When you wake up, plan your day in English. Say in your mind, "I will go to school now." Then describe things around you during the day. Say, "The sky is blue. The bus is late today." You do not need to speak out loud to practice. You just think in English without using your own language. At work, I cleaned the tables and thought in English. Now I clean the table. Now I smile at people. It felt strange on the first day, but I continued. The more I did it, the easier it became. Before bed, I played a small game on my phone. I looked at one object and talked about it. This is my phone. I use it to call friends. It is black. It helps me learn English every day. After a week, Something new started to happen in my mind. I thought of English words before my native words appeared. For example, I said Monday in my head, not segunda. I thought sandwich instead of the word I used before. This surprised me. I was not trying. It just happened. That night, I wrote in my notebook with a smile. Thinking in English makes speaking easier. It feels more natural now. After a few weeks, my English started to feel stronger. I could read simple books and understand slow English videos. But I wanted more. I wanted to speak with people. I wanted to have real conversations in real life. One day at the cafe, a tourist came to the counter. He smiled and said, "This cake looks delicious. I will try it." I answered, "I hope you like it. It is very good." He laughed and said, "Thank you. I like your English." That moment gave me a new kind of confidence. I did not think too much. I just spoke naturally. Another time, a woman asked me for directions to the station. I said, "Go straight, then turn left at the corner." She understood me and said thank you with a big smile. I helped someone with English. That felt like magic. Back in class, I sat next to a new student. He was quiet and did not say anything for a while. I looked at him and said, "Hi, my name is Anna." He looked surprised but answered, "I am Ben. I am from Thailand." We started a small conversation with simple questions and answers. "Do you like London? What do you do after class?" He spoke slowly, just like I did at the beginning. I smiled and helped him with a few words. After class, the teacher came to speak with me. She said, "You helped Ben today. That was very kind." I said, "I remember how I felt when I started. Now, I want to help others feel welcome and safe." I walked home that day with a happy heart. Real conversations are not always long, but they are powerful. When you speak with someone, you grow more than you know. One small chat can change how you feel about yourself. The course ended on a warm and sunny Friday morning. I walked to school and thought about my first day. I remembered how scared I was to speak English, how small I felt when I could not understand anyone. Now everything was different. I could listen and reply. I could read, speak, and even think in English. In the classroom, our teacher smiled and looked at us. She said, "Today is your last day here, but it is not the end." She told us something that touched my heart deeply. Learning English is not only for class, it is for life. She gave us ideas to continue learning every day. Read one story, listen to one podcast, speak one sentence, write in a diary, watch a short video in English, talk to someone online or even talk to yourself. Then she said, "Mistakes are part of learning. Do not be afraid. You do not need perfect English. You only need to keep going." After class, we took a photo and said goodbye. Some students had tears in their eyes, including me. I walked home and felt proud of my journey. I opened my notebook and wrote one final sentence. I will keep learning. I will speak English every day. At work, I started helping new students who joined the cafe. I showed them around and explained things in simple English. I said, "I was like you. I was nervous too. But I practiced, I listened, I made mistakes, and I grew." Sometimes I still say the wrong word or forget something. But I do not stop. I just tried again with a smile. I also joined an online group that meets once a week. We talk about music, travel, food, and life in English. I made a friend from Japan. We send voice messages. We help each other and laugh at our small mistakes. One day, someone said to me, "Your English is very good." "Are you a student?" I answered. "I used to be. Now I learn by speaking, listening, and reading every day. He smiled and said, "That is the best way to learn." That night, I sat with a cup of tea and smiled. I thought about my journey and how far I had come. I remembered the first time I could not speak. Now I speak. I help. I learn. I continue. I wrote one last line in my notebook before bed. English is not only what I learn, it is what I live. Now you have seen how real people learn English. Not in books, not with pressure, but with real life. You followed Anna from the beginning to the end. She was nervous. She was quiet, but she did not stop. She read every day. She listened with care. She spoke even when it was scary or difficult. She made mistakes, but she learned from them each time. She helped others. She smiled. She kept moving forward. And now, you can do the same as Anna. You do not need perfect English to speak with people. You only need small steps, taken every single day. Read one page. Listen to one short video. Speak one sentence. Think one thought in English today. If you do this again tomorrow, you will grow. Your English will become stronger. Your fear will become smaller. And one day you will say, "I can speak English." Not just in class, but in the real world too. So please, do not stop now. You are ready. You have the tools. You have the heart. Just begin. And if this video helped you, please let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe so you do not miss more lessons. We will keep learning together. I will be here for you. See you in the next video. Keep learning. Keep going. You can do this. I believe in you.